Well, hello and welcome back, and thank you for coming out. Today we're going to take you from just outside our house all the way down to the Kato Paphos area, and we're going to go to the Anesthesia Beach Bar. We're going to go up the Snake and we're going to give you a view to die for, that's for sure. Now, the lady in charge of the ship is the most beautiful woman in the world, and her name is Miss Ochin Gracivia Leboeuf.
Hello everybody, how nice to see you again and again.
And again. Right, come on, Gracivia Leboeuf, let's go. There we are. And we're off. So we're just leaving outside the village of Armu, and as we come to this raised area here, this is the crossroads. If you actually go right, you go into the older village of Armu, and if you go left, you go into the village called Marathonda. But we're going to go straight because we are going down to Kato Paphos, and the view from up here, hopefully you can see it, because I can see it in the viewfinder. It's absolutely to die for. We live at probably around about 800 to 900 meters above the Paphos area, so it's ever so slightly cooler, ever so slightly less humid, should we say, as well. And the views that we've got, like many places like Tala and Peja, are truly spectacular and to die for. As we come round these series of bends, you are going to see the horizon, and you're going to see the blue Mediterranean Sea, the blue sky, and you're going to be able to look down on, well, upper Paphos, mid Paphos, and we can see all the way down to Kato Paphos very shortly. Gracivia Leboeuf, what have you got to say?
As I was driving, I was observing a little road, very fancy roads, fancy roads, going up the hills, very hard to go up. And I think one day we should show those roads.
We should go and explore them,
to our lovely people.
Yeah, I mean, there are, what Gracivia Leboeuf is on about, up into these mountains, in these hills to my left, there are some, should we call them dirt tracks. There is one concrete road, and there are villas scattered around. There is a church up the very top there as well. So one of these days we'll get a suitable car. Not that this car won't make it, it will, but we'll get a more suitable car, shall we say, with a bit more ground clearance, and we'll go off-road and we'll do some exploring on your behalf. And we might even get to go on roads I haven't seen before. Gracivia?
And believe me, I haven't seen those roads either.
No, a lot of people haven't.
Because if you don't go to those roads.
Yeah, it's great.
And I believe that you would like it.
Well, the idea is to create views. Look at that big house there. Look at that for a mansion. When I got a couple of bob, I might buy that one, because that's a nice house and it has got a spectacular view. As you can see, it looks over these treetops to the left, and look what it's looking at, straight down onto Kato Paphos, Mesa Paphos, and then right all the way down to Kato Paphos, and of course the blue Mediterranean Sea. This now is the village of Konya. And again, if we come to this sort of crossroads here, you can take a dirt road to the right, which will bring you out in Masoi, or you can go to the left, and that will join you to the highway, 2 junctions up from the Limisol Roundabout that we're going to come to. Gracivia?
And there is one of my favorite houses, by the way. I just love it.
Yeah, Gracivia does like this house. Have a quick look at that. There we are. It's a very nice complex of houses, actually, and they're quite arty and quite nouveau, with a mix of retro as well. Very nice villas indeed. Again, when we got a couple of bob, we'll go buy one.
With a huge pool. I'm afraid nobody is going to sell it.
No, you don't think so?
This is a problem.
This is a problem. This is a problem.
Because if you like something, why would you sell it?
Well, some people do sell them, but it's not going to be a problem we're ever going to come across, because we don't have €1 million to buy them. And then here's some new houses that are being built. And I'm not saying they're not nice houses, maybe they are, but they're not to our taste. They're these boxy things. And I don't want to insult anyone, because I understand that some people do like that look, but it's not our look, shall we say. Anyway, here we go. Let's proceed on our trip down to the beautiful Kato Paphos. And as you can see, the sky is alight and it's beaming with the sunshine, because we've got about another hour or so before that sun will start on its travels to Kato, Australia. But don't worry, it'll be back at around 6:10 in the morning, and the sky will be beaming again, and we'll be roasting again. So here we are now into, should we say, the commercial part of Konya. We've got a barber's on the left, we've got a pharmacy on the right, we've got the Konya kiosk on the right, and this is the Kanye Taverna, which is closed. But in a little bit, it'll open up, because 4 or 5 nights a week. It's very, very busy indeed with locals, tourists, expats and Cypriots alike. So after we go down this last little dip down here, which again where they've been resurfacing the road, we were in chaos a couple of days ago because all of this road was dug up and we had to take a diversion of around about 6 miles to get to this road here, which as you can see now, they decided to dig that one up as well. But hey, it's called progress. Hopefully in the end it'll all work out and be lovely. And as you can hear, the car is protesting because the roads are absolutely Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, here's the main Limisol Roundabouts. So if you're leaving uptown Paphos, this is the roundabout you would come to, and you would go on the first exit, so that's a left in our case here, up the Limisol bypass, and in about 80 kilometers or so you would get into downtown Limisol. So wait for it, there's a bit of traffic coming, so sit with us, and then we're going to go straight over this roundabout, and then we will pass the Alpha Mega supermarket, which you can see in the distance there, and then we're going to drop down and eventually get onto one of the greatest roads in Paphos, which is the tree-lined avenue that takes you all the way down to the beautiful area known as Kato Paphos, which of course is the hotel area mainly, the promenade area, and of course our favourite area, the harbour area. So stick with us. We've got another 10 minutes or so to go. If you're feeling a bit bored, obviously you can click off and you can go and watch Bald and Bankrupt. I think Ben's back in the Ukraine or somewhere like that.
No
See the other booth?
way. Why? Is Ben better than me? Or
Well, he's not better than you. He's not better looking than you, for sure.
At least I've got more hair than him.
He might speak better English than you, but that's about it. But of course, Receive the booth, just so people understand, if you're new to the channel, this lady next to me speaks 7 languages, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not lying. She speaks 7 languages, and believe it or not, English is her worst. She's a fully qualified English teacher, but as I say, the Russian teacher that taught her to speak English, well, her English is not very good.
My teacher was very old.
Yes.
I believe that she was a bit old and a bit going to the pension.
Yeah, well, there we go. She did a good job, and then hopefully I've improved your English over the last few years.
Of course.
She certainly learned some words she didn't know before, if you understand. Anyway, here we are. To our left-hand side, we've got a great place behind this palm tree. I understand you can't see it. If you look very carefully, you can see white letters on the roof saying McDonald's. So that's a very popular place indeed. Across the road, we've got the Blue Cross Private Hospital, and next door to that, we've got a petrol station, a filling station, a benzene station, and then to our left-hand side here, we have the old Paphos Mall. This closed down about 2013. Now it's having 7 bells knocked out of it. Let me just show you, if you look very carefully. And that is going to be the new site for the Home Centre Super DIY and the ERA department store, which is going to come up on our left in another couple of 100 metres. And the reason why that's moving up to there is because they're going to knock this one all down, and the developer is then going to build a 27-storey apartment block, skyscraper as they're called, with apartment prices, well, in a different stratosphere to what most of us can afford. And in the downstairs part, they're going to build shops, restaurants and that sort of thing. So sit with us, here we go. To the right hand side of us now is the Paphos football stadium, so that's the main Paphos football stadium over there, and we're going to come down to the mid roundabout now. If you were to go right, you would go into mid Paphos, downtown Paphos as we would call it, and if you go left, you would go to Yereskipu, and eventually you would end up in the airport area. That's obviously if you're a tourist, or if you kept going, Limisol, and if you kept going, Nicosia. So we are now on what we call our favourite road, the tree-lined avenue that takes you all the way down to Paradise, which is the promenade area, the hotel area and the harbour area. Cresivia?
Talking about the language and the words in English, I remember Mr. Nigel. Should I say Mr. Nigel? What sort of types of word, please? You were telling me in a nice way. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
When the Carters were here, that's Nigel Big Gun Carter and oh so sweet Caroline, we actually went out to have a meal once or twice, and we got to know them quite well. And Cresivia Booth and Mr. Nigel Carter were playing with the English language, because as we understand, there are certain words that sound similar and there are certain words that mean totally different things. And he said, well, Mr. Paul, I think I could get a piece. And she said, what, could go for it? Yeah, exactly. So these are the words that we play with. There's some favourite words in your arsenal, like big digger. Can you say big digger?
Big digger.
Big digger, yeah.
Machines.
She has a slight pronunciation problem on that word. Can you say large cock?
Large Coke.
Yes, there we go. So if you were to go to McDonald's and order a large Coke off Watching Receiver the Booth, this is what you would say.
Of course.
How would you say it?
We're not bothered
How would you say it?
to extend the word.
How would you say it?
Large Coke.
Anyway,
Means
there's a
Coca-Cola.
joke in there somewhere. Right, stick with us. We are on the tree-lined avenue all the way down to Kato Paphos. Watch that speed, Receiver the Booth, because this is the #1 road. I warn anybody, whether you're hiring a car, whether you own a car, or you have access to a car, this is the #1 road, and this now is the #1 spot. We just passed that spot there, and there's another spot coming up, and this is where the Gumbarus like to be. They're here in the morning before lunch, and they're here, should we say, late afternoon when it's gone cooler again, and they're out here sometimes till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, because they understand it's very, very easy to exceed the speed limit along here, that's for sure. And in particular, just so you understand, they are looking for foreigners. That's what they're looking for.
And also,
okay? Let's go see now.
last, they've got some cars.
Camera machines, yeah.
Camera
They have, yeah.
machines.
Yeah. Just so you understand, each district now has 2 small unmarked, and I mean unmarked, there's no signals on them whatsoever. The only giveaway is when you come up behind it, there is a glass rear window which is lifted up when the camera's in operation. So if you see a small little white van on the side of the road, well, what it's doing is taking pictures, it's checking your seatbelt is on, it's checking you're not smoking, by the way. These are some of the laws in Cyprus when you're driving, that is, and it's checking you're not on a mobile phone, left or right-handed, and it's checking most of all that you're not speeding. If you do, bingo, it's a ticket coming in the post, that's for sure. Right, so we are in downtown Kato Paphos, and that in front of us, the one with the bell tower, that big building, that is the Olympic Lagoon Resort. That's the 5-star, possibly the best hotel in Cyprus. You know, there's debate on it, but it possibly is. And then this area here is known as the Triangle. So this is what's known as Pacidonis Avenue, but of course that doesn't mean a lot to you or me. It's actually the hotels road. So the majority of the luxury hotels in Pathforce are further back on this road, and then there are some to our left hand side now, and coming up is the Amavi, and then after that is the Alexander the Great, etc, etc. So this is known to most foreigners and most tourists as the hotel road into downtown Kato Paphos, and then it goes to the harbour area. Anyway, we're going to park up in this car park, we're going to dismount, and we're going to go and walk the snake. Now if you come into this car park, it's one of the few car parks in Pathos that you have to pay in, just so you understand. You can ignore paying fees in most car parks, but if you come into this one, this is the favourite car park for the little Gumbarus to come and check, and if they find you haven't paid, well, guess what? You get a €25 fine.
And still
That's
nobody
what you
is
get.
paying, I'm afraid.
And still no one's paying, yeah. But again, just so you understand, and I know I'm being careful what I say, but they're looking for foreigners. So whether you live here or whether you're on holiday, they're looking for foreigners. Very, very easy pickings for them, because they understand that we're just going to pay. Right, we're going to dismount, so stick with us as we go and walk the snake. Here we go. So there it is. This is known as the Antasia. My pronunciation, as everyone understands, is Sherlock Holmes, but it's a very, very nice beach bar indeed. It's now been open for 2 years, time does go, and what we're going to do is walk the snake. But before we do, let's have a look at that. The most beautiful woman in the entire world. Here she comes. Absolutely spectacular tonight, that's for sure. Right, stick with us as we go up the snake. And as is tradition, when we go through doors or upstairs, we always follow the rear end of Receiver the Booth. Off you go, the booth. Here we go. Sit with us. Up we go. What a rear end it is as well. Absolutely spectacular. I must say, Receiver, you look absolutely beautiful tonight, as usual. That's for sure. Not rubbishing, ravishing, Receiver the Booth. Wow. Have a look at that. Now, look at that for a view. A view to die for, that is for sure. Look at that. The sky is blue, the sea is blue, I'm dressed head to toe in blue. All that's missing is...
You, of course you. We haven't been here for a long time, but you always remember that we will always remind you where to come, the nicest places we will mention. We would like to thank you very, very much for staying with us, for giving us that much attention that we want. We're loving you to this end.
All that's left for me to say is thanks for watching, and if you do like what you see, please hit the like, click subscribe, and come back for a little bit more of our madness. There's a bit of parasailing going on in the distance there. That's what Gracevia LaBouffe gets very excited about, and that's Gracevia LaBouffe having a bit of a dance. Let's have a look at the rear end.
They're laughing. They're laughing.
Who's laughing?
Very nice.
There we are. You all right? Say goodbye, Gracevia LaBouffe.
Goodbye.
Thanks.